What's going on, guys? Got Johnny back here today, and we're here with a new GPC upload. Yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. The GPC has started back up again after the last season. I was unfortunately losing in semifinals. We're here with a new season of the GPC, and we're trying to make a revenge and actually get the championship this time. However, this GPC we're in now is definitely not the same GPC that it has been the last couple of seasons. I had a bunch of people that left. We have a bunch of new admins who we took on. Last season wasn't the most wasn't the most successful concerning admin work, something that has really haunted the JPC for quite a while now, and not everybody has uploaded, including myself, so I can't really talk crap about anyone because I myself didn't upload the way I should have. But yeah, we sat together before the season and we really had to think where we wanted to go with this, and we basically decided that we do not want to give up on the GPC. We want to put in the work. We want to get some really interesting and nice new people to the community, and we really want to solidify the GPC spot in the community and solidify what the GPC has been to the community. And that's always been like a really good league to try and enter the more competitive scenes or the more competitive scenes of YouTube draft format. And we really want to bring the GPC back to where it was there. Obviously, it's not going to be easy, especially if you don't know half of the players you're adding and you just do it based on application. But I'm pretty sure that we can get some potential out of these new people we added to the league, and it's going to be a really, really fun season. And it's also why I decided to come back for another season. So yeah, we had a draft, and 16 people drafted with one draft pool, point system, and hell, 110 points, and it was a nightmare. The 110 point limit is barely sufficient in my opinion, and drafting and then getting a position like I did myself at the back side of the draft, I believe I was 12th or 13th, where it's just making it incredible tough because you're so dependent on certain picks because you can't fit the replacements in your plan probably. But yeah, overall I think we still ended up with a very, very good team that I'm actually really excited to use. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. And so as you can see, I'm not going to go for the whole draft analysis things. Just going to point out generally how the draft went. I picked up Mew round 1 because it was frankly the best Pokemon around, and then I picked Mega Galate round 2 because it's a Mega I've been wanting to use for ages and it never made it back to me. I could afford to pick Mew round 1 because I knew the people after me weren't going to get Mega Galate. So yeah, that's why I got those two. Then the second pairing is just wanted good wall breakers, good speed tiers, and Keldeo and Hydreigon gave me all of that. Plus, it's again two Pokemon I've really wanted to use for a whole season in a draft league for a while now, and I haven't done that yet. Next up, Roserade and Escavalier, and sort of also Talonflame, just cover generally huge flaws of my team so far. Then we pick up Stunfisk, our obligatory ground type, and our captain. And then we have Arrow for an additional Rocker and Bird Resist, Hitmonlee for hazard control, and Marini for an additional physical wall that can also set up a T-Spike. Now, and now that you know my team, on the right you can see my Week 1 opponent's team. And it's something. It's something, definitely. He has the Mega Lopunny, the Azumarill, the Zapdos, the Ferrothorn, the Z Heracross, Z Dragalge, Umbreon, Type Null, Delphox with the Z move, Palossand, Vanillix, and Wartortle. First of all, the first thing I noticed about his team when prepping here were his speed tiers. Like, he has the very fast Mega Lopunny at base 135, which hits, I believe, 405 speed. Which means that will outspeed my entire team, even my two very fast ones, and Talonflame and Aerodactyl. But after those, his next fastest thing was Delphox, which in this gap between Lopunny and Delphox, I already have a couple of very, very big threats. I have the Galate, I have the Keldeo, the Talonflame, and I have the Aerodactyl. So I definitely felt like that was something I could exploit. Plus, yes, all of those are revengeable by Mega Lopunny, but if you look at my team, I have a Mew. And Mew's potentially just about the best counter to Megalopony you can wish for if you play it right. So I definitely wasn't too worried here. So I thought I had a pretty good matchup along, based off those two facts alone. And you'll see how I decided to abuse that fact, basically. Because I just felt like, despite him having good wall breakers for my team, especially in Heracross, Dragalge, and Azu as well, I felt like I really had my speed just matched up so well against his that I could afford to build a more balanced approach here still. You'll see the way I try to build this team here in a minute. So yeah, first off, my first set of the week, or of the season basically, I started off as a defensive Mew. Now this Mew guaranteed outspeeds a Heracross and can knock it out with Psyshock after rocks. It also counters, as I mentioned before, Megalopony with Stealth Rock and yeah, with Psyshock and Helmet, and Megalopony can't really touch me. I also have the Marini here as a secondary pivot that can come in on Megalopony, take any hit, and then Toxic it. This Marini Mew core is really effective in dealing with Megalopony, just because if one of his best ways of dealing with the Mew from his Megalop would be Toxicking me on the switch. But for one, I can always this will always be synchronized back to him, so he Toxics his Megalopony, which in combination with Rocky Helmet and, for example, my hit only here in the back with Mud Punch can definitely beat the Megalopony. And second of all, on the Tox, he always has to fear my Marini coming and potentially setting up toxic spikes, which if he doesn't bring the Dragalge are actually really threatening to his team. But yeah, I also have Stealth Rock on this Mew because it was quite frankly my best rock setter this matchup, and with a lot of speed that I have, I expect to be able to outspeed Zapdos and just be able to taunt it and prevent it from defogging, so I should be able to keep hazards up if he does not bring the War Turtle. And to be honest, if he brings War Turtle, he deserves to get those rocks off the field. So yeah, and the last moves are Psyshock for obligatory coverage for his team. It hits everything barring the Ferrothorn and the Umbreon, and both of those can't really beat me in return. As long as I have my Rocky Helmet with Taunt, I can beat the Umbreon, because if it's mono foul play, it'll kill itself here with the Rocky Helmet, while I taunt it, prevent it from recovering it, because it can easily stall it out with Roost. I also have some good other measures here that are able to deal with the Umbreon in a way. So yeah, I'm not really too worried about that. I think it has a pretty poor matchup overall, but yeah. And the taunt obviously also helps me. Sorry about that. The taunt obviously also helps me beat the Ferrothorn, because if their Ferrothorn all it can do is like Toxic me. Potentially knock off that might be annoying, but I can deal with that, and then I can taunt Psyshock it down, which is pretty nice. So this Mew is just, in general, really solid mon versus team. Now, the danger I saw in team building is that if I rely too much on my physically defensive Mew, stuff like the Azumarill and stuff like the Heracross might just be able to overwhelm me, which is something I definitely didn't want to risk. And my best answer to Heracross and to Azumarill was my Marini. So I'm bringing a physically defensive Eagle-Eye Marini here, because what else would you run? It's basically baby Toxic Pex, and you know what that does. It just Toxics, recovers, hazes, and scalds. I opted against T-Spikes and 4 Toxic here just because I definitely want to use this as a lure for potentially for the Zapdos, and get off the Toxic on the Zapdos, because I easily take a Discharge or even a T-Bolt. And if once I Toxic the Zapdos, my Talonflame in the back, as you'll see soon, just becomes an immense win condition, and otherwise Zapdos is just generally an annoying Pokemon to play, and Toxic really helps to wear that down, especially in combination with Taunt from you, and preventing it from recovering, and also for you with the rocks beating it down. So yeah. Next up, I have my bulk up Mega Gallade, and I'm really hyped for this, because this set is, it's some cash. After bulk up, this thing does not die to anything. It doesn't die to Megalopony, it doesn't die to potential Scarfers. I don't remember what the exact HP and attack investment were for. They had a reason, a very specific reason. I'm not sure which it was. But yeah, I also outspeed the Delphox, so yeah, about N+1, as I said. I can't be revenged by the Megalopony, and as you know, Mega Gallade, I'm stat fast here in case I want the speed boost from the Fake Out, if I'm inverse Megalopony, but otherwise my ability will be Mega Inner Focus, which means that obviously fake out won't flinch me. That can take the fake out if he forgets about this and just drain punch and get all my health back. Same for the Umbreon, really. So I'm definitely this is especially solid versus Umbreon. I don't think I need close combat versus that, just because if he brings Umbreon versus my team, it's probably gonna be, or should, honestly, it should quite honestly just be especially defensive, because it takes on the Hydreigon, takes on the Roserade, and yeah, physically defensive. The Umbreon doesn't really deal with any of the physical attackers on my team. T-Flame beats it, Gallade beats it, Mew taunts and beats it if Mew is physical. Hitmonlee just OHKOs, Cavalier beats it. So I'm really expecting a Spadef Umbreon here. So I'm definitely looking forward to this Gallade here, putting in a lot of work. As in Headbutt, Drain Punch have almost perfect coverage against his team. I just wanted to have the Poison Jab on deck as well, to be able to hit the Delphox for a bit more damage, and also be able to OHKO the Azumarill at +1, which is a big threat to my team, because Marini, while being a decent switch into Azumarill, it doesn't do that much back. So I definitely wanted to be prepped for Azu here as well. Looking at the next one, we have Stallbreaker, Spadef, Talonflame, because look at his team. What beats it? Azumarill beats it, but again, as I pointed out, I'm pretty well prepped for it with Rocky Helmet Mew with my Marini. I'm not worried about the Azumarill. After a couple of bulk ups, I just outspeed him and kill him. If I'm at full, I have the L-Wings here, I just out-prioritize and kill him. So this doesn't beat it. The only thing that probably beats this set 1v1 is a non-toxic Zapdos. So here's where Marini again comes into play, because once I get the toxic on the Zapdos, Zapdos won't be able to beat this Talonflame, because I can easily, I speed it, I can easily just roost stall it, taunt it, and bulk up on it, and wait till it's low enough to be picked off by a Brave Bird. With taunt and bulk up and this little attack investment, I also beat the Umbreon, unless I get crit, and I also can always bulk up on it until I can kill it. And then I basically proceed to sweep his team, because his bird check is really only Zapdos. So yeah, this I felt really important here in this matchup. I could have run Flare-Blitz for like the Zapdos, but then I would miss out on Taunt or Roost, and that's something I really didn't want to risk here, just because both have such phenomenal utility in the game. Talonflame is also pretty clutch defensively, because it really switches in on Ferrothorn always, it switches in on Heracross. It can take a hit from Jagallary, roost it off. It can beat the Delphox easily, even like in between Hydreigon, which deals with its Stupid Stab, plus my Talon, which deals with Focus Blast or Dazzling Gleam, and Mew, which deals with everything barring Shadow Ball. I'm really not that scared of Delphox, especially since my Gallade outspeeds and Talon outspeeds. So I'm really like not that scared of Delphox here at all. And yeah. Next up is a nice Poisonium Z Hydreigon. Enough speed for Heracross again, max special attack, and rest in HP just for a nice added bulk, because as you see I have Roost. This is able to take on the majority of his team as well. With Draco I just nuke a lot of stuff on his team, while with Dark Pulse, which gives me good complementary coverage. With Roost, I'm able to recover back health, so that means I also beat the Zapdos 1v1. And as you can see, the Poisonium Z Belch with this much bulk investment means that I OHKO on a Azumarill that tries to switch in on me and beat the check, which I expect him to scout for this Z Belch, because I think it's probably a better known set by now. We'll see what he does in the match. This also, Hydreigon with this amount of bulk is also a really, really solid check to a Belladrum Azumarill, because I can easily, again, take the Aqua Jet and just proceed to hit him hard with the Poisonium Z Belch and kill it. So that's because Belch is 120 base power. I think with the Poisonium Z it goes to something like 190 base poison move from a 349 special attack. So it's really, really strong. And I'm really happy with that, to be honest. And last but not least, I have my AV Hitmonlee here with Limber. I changed it from Reckless to Limber before the match, and I actually forgot to edit high jump click for close combat. You'll see that somewhat bites me in the butt in the game. But yeah, this set is generally main purpose was to control hazards in this game, to get rid of rocks on my side of the field, so Talonflame's job gets a lot easier, and also Marini's, which is better to the to the Azumarill. And also this thing with Limber is just a good check to Zapdos in case I any of my Hydreigon healthy for something else. I can easily go into this on the Zapdos to any hit, because I have massive Spadef with the Assault Vest, can kill it or do massive damage to Zapdos with the Stone Edge. Mach Punch provides me another nice tool to revenge kill his team. Just Fighting Stab is pretty spammable against this team. If he brings the Palo Sand again, I'm really not too worried because Palo Sand loses to this Mew set. Palo Sand is also like just fodder for my Hydreigon, which, as I mentioned, has a really good matchup versus his team. So yeah, that's the team we're bringing here week 1, and I'd say we go right over to the replay here in a second. Just let me get rid of these, and we go to the replay. So yeah, we go. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. My opponent, of course, is Ballistic. He's a new addition to the GPC. His link will be down in the description below. Definitely go check him out. I feel really bad for forgetting this. So yeah, but we're here in the matchup, and he did bring the Umbreon and he did bring the Palo Sand. I sort of expected the Delphox just because of his speed here versus my team. But yeah, I'm really surprised with those two. But as I mentioned before, now that I see this Palo Sand will be here just out of rocks, will shore up, will probably like carry Dual Step, maybe Toxic. Looking at this right here, and the Umbreon should probably be Spadef because otherwise his team really doesn't deal with Hydreigon at all. And again, I don't think Umbreon physically defensive has any point of coming versus my team because it doesn't, quite frankly, take on stuff as well. So yeah, that's kind of my mentality going into the game. So, and something I won't see right away is that my Mew doesn't really lead badly versus anything on his team. I can Psyshock the Azu, take any hit, I can taunt the thing here. The Umbreon, I can beat the Zapdos, can beat the Palo Sand, I can beat the Lopunny, and I can take any hit from that. So I think I'm going to lead off with my Mew. If I'm not mistaken, no, I'm going to lead Marini. Okay, that was something else. Sorry, I let Marini because yeah, but basically for the same reason, because the only bad leads this Marini really had were versus the Zapdos, and even that I'm not mad about it, just because again, as I mentioned before, I want the Toxic off on the Zapdos immediately, and he doesn't have a Toxic immunity, so yeah, that's why I let off with my Marini. Plus this also gave me the best potential league matchup against the biggest threat on his team, which is definitely this big bad boy Azu here over here. So yeah, I lead Marini, and I think I'm going to click Toxic right away. Yep. And why is this lagging? Come on. Okay, we're going to try this again. I refreshed the page. So yeah, I'm going to lead Marini. I'm going to click Toxic turn 1. Because again, as I pointed out, Toxic is really free play. Earthquake or Earth Power from this Palo Sand won't really do too much to Marini, and I expected him to go get up a Stealth Rock anyway, given how big of a threat Talonflame is to the team he brought. So yeah, that's why I clicked Toxic here, and Toxic in this is really nice for you to beat it more securely later without having to risk something. So yeah, now I'm just going to switch out into my Hydreigon, predicting him to go for the Earth Power on this Marini. As he actually pulls a double into Azumarill, so I think he was predicting the Hydreigon here, so definitely good play on his part. And now, as I pointed out in my team builder, I do think that he is going to scout for the Z-Belch here, which is why I make the safe play of going into my Marini, because if he stays in and does not scout for the Z-Belch, it just kills him. So yeah, that's why I just go back into my Marini here. Could you not? Could you? Really? Okay, there we go. Please work. Okay, he went for knockoff. Now he knocks off my Eviolite, and that, as you can see, that'll do a lot of damage to me. Yeah, I'm pretty free here to just recover off, because as you can see, I take any other hits from him. Double Edge is really the best thing he can hit me with, and that does 52, and that's a high roll or a mid roll, so I can basically just keep recovering on this, and this Azu will slowly but surely kill itself. With reeling a knockup and Double Edge, I'm also fairly certain he's not Valley Drum, so I'm really not as worried about this Azumarill anymore. And my Marini, even if I don't get up the Toxic on the Zapdos, I'm happy with my Marini going 1-for-1 with the Azumarill, which it does look like it'll be able to do here. So I'm just going to keep on clicking recover. As you can see, that is 50, it takes recoil, I recover, go back to 59, click the Double Edge again, I should be able to lift this, but nope, he gets the crit. And now this does put me in a bit of an unfortunate situation, because here I have to go into my High Dragon because that's the only thing on my team that can really reliably revenge this Azumarill. And I think because I switched in my High Dragon hard on the Azumarill, he's going to predict the acid downpour and switch out, and I'm screwed, because then I really don't have much for the Azumarill here anymore. But as you can see, as you saw on screen probably, because I don't know, because Chrome and Battle Area are bitches. He doesn't scout for it. I click it and it works out, and his Azumarill just drops. So yeah, I could have done that a lot earlier and basically preserved my Marini if I just done that turn 2 or turn 3. But yeah, probably overestimated him a bit there. So not against him anything anyway, but if you haven't seen Z-Belch, that's probably something you don't scout for. I just assumed he probably saw it somewhere, but that was my bad entirely to assume stuff like that. So definitely nothing on my opponent here. But yeah, now he brings in the Mega Lopunny, and as I said in my team mail, my safe switch in is always my Mew. I have the Rocky Helmet for this exact reason. He goes for the high jump kick and misses, unfortunately. Again, I do not think that mattered. I could have just recovered off the damage with Mew and with Helmet, and then gradually wearing him down. This extra damage on the lob doesn't really matter at all here already, because it doesn't break my Mew. I go back to this if it matters in the long run of the game. But yeah, now he's here. Obviously, he's forced out here, and he goes into his Umbreon, which is totally fine by me, as I just get up my Stealth because I knew this Lopunny couldn't really touch me. Probably switch out, and I taunt the Umbreon because I don't want him wish passing freely along his team. Good situation here. Now I go into Hitmonlee because I think this is my best chance to really get rid of hazards on my side of the field. I didn't expect him to click Foul Play here because that really did not do much to Mew. And my Mew at this point could have still had a coverage move to hit this. I really don't really agree with the play here. I would have probably gone Delphox here or Zapdos to scout a bit more, but I mean, he did the play he did, so it worked out for him. So he gets a huge damage on my Hitmonlee. But still here I'm able, because he's still taunted, I'm able to threaten him out with a strong fighting move, and I can just click Rapid Spin. Get rid of hazards on my side of the field, unless he switches into Palossand, which is why I pulled the double into my High Dragon. This double just puts me in the best overall situation, because now I'm able to freely click Dark Pulse versus this and severely weaken this Palossand, and then probably get rid of hazards with my Hitmonlee later down the road. Did I just do that? I think I just click Dark Pulse. I might double predicting the Umbreon. I double predicting the Umbreon. He brings in the Umbreon. Yeah, okay. Sorry, this game happened a while ago. I forgot the specifics here, but yeah. I double back out because Umbreon balls my High Dragon set here at this point in the game still. So I go back into my Mega Gallade because I think now I can get a free bulk up and pose a massive threat to his team, because Foul Play after bulk up won't do enough to where I can't won't do enough damage, because I can all just recover it back with a +1 Drain Punch. So I am just going to Mega Evolve here and click the bulk up right away. And let's see what his switch into is once Battle Area decides to move. Okay, I'm going to refresh the page again. We're on turn 13. I'm going to refresh this. I'm going to play. I'm going to switch sides. I'm going to go into turn 13. Here I am with the double into a Dragon, with the double next out into Gallade. There we go! And then I click bulk up because I expect him to switch into his Umbreon. And I click bulk up on the Umbreon, predicting shit, because bulk up was just my best play at this moment. And now at +1, I'm sure I can 2-hit KO the Zapdos with Zen Headbutt. So I'm just going to go for that as he reads the Thunderbolt, which is perfectly fine with me because this charge would have been a hell of more trouble to deal with. This way I can just 2-hit KO the Zapdos, and right here I know the Lopunny can't even revenge me with a return. But as I said in my team builder, he goes for Fake Out, forgets that I'm inner focus, and I take even less damage here. Here's actually where the high jump kick miss from him hurts me more than it hurt him, because if he hadn't missed the high jump kick, he would have been at a significantly higher amount of health here, which means my Gallade would have recovered a lot more HP with this Drain Punch. So this hacks basically also was in his favor, despite not seeming it not looking the way earlier in the game. But now he goes into his Palossand because this thing still takes a hit and prevents me from recovering. I can just click Zen Headbutt here though, go for a 2-hit KO, as I know I'll easily take a Shadow Ball, guaranteed and no questions asked. And then I can go for the second Zen Headbutt and not just knock this out, because even if he went Umbreon again, I just could have clicked the Drain Punch here. Now here I go into my Hydreigon to scout out this Delphox, because versus a Gallade, if he brings it in like this, it could have been a Scarf Delphox. He couldn't have gone into that earlier because Scarf Delphox didn't necessarily knock out my Gallade from the range it was at before the Palossand Shadow Ball. So right here I want to scout that. I'm going to a Hydreigon predicting the Shadow Ball, predicting like by Mew or something. Could have gone for Dazzling Gleam here, which would have been totally fine. Then I could have gone into my Talonflame afterwards and just set up the next bulk up. But yeah, Hydreigon was my first scout here because it couldn't really, well, it beat Delphox if he locked itself. It didn't have Dazzling Gleam, it didn't beat the Umbreon, so Hydreigon was definitely my most expendable memory here. As he just clicked Psychic, which was interesting, and now I double into Talonflame. Again, dual purpose play. If he brings out Umbreon, fine, I can beat it. If he switches up moves, goes for Dazzling Gleam or Focus Blast, I take it and I beat the Delphox. So yeah, so really, then now at this point it's a wrap because I can proceed to taunt and stall break out the Umbreon if it, decides to show. Come on, yeah. No, I'm refreshing this again, just showing you in fast. We were in turn 23, so we made it 10 turns without it not working. Oh, come on. Please. There we go. Can't be that tough. Turn 23. There we go. I click bulk up after I taunted the as you can see, that just 33. So with lefties, I'm easily able to just boost this off, keep bulk upping on this Umbreon, up to the point where I'm sure I can 2-hit KO it, where I'll still live the to the point where I still live any of incoming foul play. But here he goes into the Delphox, and I can just roost up on this, scouting what it wants to do it as it clicks Psychic, and now I'm free to just click Brave Bird because I know I'll outspeed it and I can kill it. I'll just knock it out right here, and now he goes into Umbreon, and it's really GG at this point. I can freely spam I can taunt him, and then I can start bulking up on his face. I should have probably bulked up here, but really I just didn't. I thought I had the game pretty in the back here, just need to play this long game. Obviously I run the risk of getting crit, but if that happens I still have alternative Luncons in the back. So yeah, I can set up the next bulk up here, I believe. Oh, I taunt the Talonflame first. And then I'm at a high enough range of health. If you can see that as after the next bulk up, I do not die. And he clicks Foul Play. He brings me down to 5 again. I can easily roost this off. And I'm slowly but surely getting to the point where I can beat the... No, I get crit. The third piece of hacks that really matters in this game. Fun stuff. Okay. I take it though. I still... it doesn't really matter to me. Right here I can go into my Gallade. As I mentioned, I expect this to be especially defensive Umbreon, and I didn't really have a way to tell before now. And if it is indeed the set I expect, I can just safely click Drain Punch versus this and recover enough health to where I guaranteed live a foul play. But as you can see, this bad boy is a physically defensive Umbreon, and I don't recover enough health, and I die. And why? Okay. Please. Why do you do this? And now I'm forced to go into Hydreigon. Force it to Wish, because so much. Okay, I can Drain Punch. As you can see, I don't recover enough damage. Let's go back to this first. And he kills me. So now I'm at a bad position because before the game, I didn't change High Jump Kick to Close Combat after I changed Reckless, so it turns into Protect 50-50 here, which I lose as he just clicks the easy Protect. I thought he would scout for something else. Now I have to go into Hydreigon. And basically, I know this Umbreon can't beat me. It's really, between Roost on this and my Rocky Helmet Taunt Mew, he has no chance of beating me whatsoever. So really I can just stall out this Umbreon here, and that's just what's going to happen for the remainder of the game. As with Taunt, Foul Play, my Roost, I can PP stall him and I can HP stall him. As you can see, Foul Play just does 39 and he recovers that. So, and that's what's going to happen here for the remainder of the game. So yeah, pretty nice week 1. We have a really solid win, I feel, against Ballistic. The hacks kind of cost us a few differential points, and the misplays of me in the end game here, not properly scouting the Umbreon's head, and I could have really stalled out this Umbreon with my Mew, my Hydreigon, before unnecessarily sacking off the Hitmonlee and the Gallade. But yeah, after the crit, I kind of just wanted to get this done with, because I wanted to leave, but I lost 2 points of differential, so I really have to look out for that in future weeks so that won't happen again. But yeah, I think overall it's a pretty solid win. I'm really happy with the team. It worked pretty much entirely how I wanted it to work out. And I'm just going to skip through the last couple turns here, as he now comes to realization that he loses and he forfeits the match. So yeah, that's our week 1 GPC upload, guys. Thanks for watching. GG. I'll see you. Cheers.